Hey, I'm Brian Leonis from the Washington Wild Things. Tonight we have a special episode of Touching Home for you guys. We had this last homestand, a record broken. Gnome Contest broke the single-season saves record for the Frontier League, and we had a historic first where Matz threw the first perfect game in Frontier League history. So I wanted to grab them on their next homestand and do a little interview to see how this felt to them, what kind of stuff they did, how they felt during the game, and to see how this is going to affect the team the rest of the season. All right, thank you.
Wow. Can I get an extra large too? You grab two? I mean, I'm his roommate.
I'll try.
You broke the all-time single-season saves record for the Frontier League. How's it feel?
I mean, in all reality, it's just a blessing. It's like I was telling myself this whole season for me to be able to play baseball is a blessing from God. And so it's just to be able to accomplish something like that. I mean, I never really had any goals in mind of doing something like that. It was more so just, making the postseason with this team and hopefully, winning a championship. It's just an added on blessing, and it's awesome to be a part of this team with the way this chemistry is on this team, the way we all interact with each other, and I mean, I couldn't ask for a better group of guys to do it with. So,
having done both, what's the different mindset between being a closer and a starter?
As a starter, it's more of a marathon. You can't really go out of the gate guns blazing. You have to kind of pace yourself in the sense that you have to kind of plan to be on the mound in the sixth inning, or at least hope to be on the mound in the sixth inning, seventh inning. As a reliever, you can go out guns blazing because you're not really going to see the lineup. Hopefully, you're not going to see the lineup more than once, and you don't have to worry about being as, I guess, methodical with your approach. But going back to the question, I enjoy closing much more than I do starting. I mean, it's just more of a mentality thing, and I also think it's more of a stamina thing. Because for me, my stamina, I'm 3 and out, 3 innings and out max. If that, and as a starter, you can't go 3 innings and be done, kind of thing. So.
Now, I don't know if you noticed, but you hit 97. One pitch hit 97, 2 pitches hit 95, and a handful of them hit 93. Have you ever hit 97 miles per hour before?
Not that I've seen. I've been told that I've done it once before in college summer league, but not that I've seen on like an actual scoreboard type of radar gun. Yeah, that. And I told him the night after that, I was like, that's just one of those things where it felt like I was like there was a higher power to me. I was like I was saying, like I was blessed that night to be able to have that kind of stuff on that night, and it also had to do with the crowd that we had here that night. It was like 4,000 something people, and it felt like I was telling everybody, it felt like it was like 40,000 people because I don't know what was into the crowd that night, but everybody was riled up and really going. So
now, did you know that you were going out to break the single season record for saves?
Yeah, I had known it. I had known about it. I mean, but what you try to do is you kind of try to play it off in your head as if it's just like any other day. Because if you kind of look at it in that kind of approach where like here's the next one, it's gonna get to you. You kind of have to look at it as here's another time to go play baseball, and then I guess you just kind of embrace what happens after the fact.
You threw the first perfect game in Frontier League history. There's lots of interviews of what we did talk to you after the game, and now that we're like a week out of it, how does it? Is it sinking in? Are you kind of like, what is your thought process going through now that you're a week past it, looking back on the day?
I mean, yeah, it feels pretty unreal to be able to say that. I don't have any kind of accolade that I could compare to that. So, I mean, yeah, it's really special. It's really special to my family, and just having a Labor Day barbecue last night with my family, kind of reflecting on that experience, and it was special. It really was. I'll never forget it. But then we got to clinch playoffs, and now we're on to the next thing. So it kind of want to put that in the review as much as I'll never forget it. But we there's other things that we want to focus on now and kind of move on to winning this division and winning a ring here. We do have a special team this year. You look in our bullpen right now, and the guys are playing flips, and our whole team that's the kind of guys we have. We all pull for each other, and I think absolutely we have something special.
Great feeling.
Yeah.
How do you get over that and move on?
I didn't want to get over it. I just carried it on to my next one. a game like that, my confidence was sky high. So, and my next start after that was the same team. So I felt like I just tried to carry over what I had that game into the next one, and pound the zone, give our defense a chance to make plays, and we came out on top once again. So I'm thrilled. I'm pumped where we are, confidence-wise. I feel like we're perfect right now. I love where we're at. So it feels good.
And not only did you have a perfect game, but Saturday you were able to go out on the mound and pitch a game where we clinched the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. No, I felt very privileged to be a part of that game as well. We had 4 runs before we even had an out. So walking out onto the mound with 4 runs and in the first inning, it made things really easy for me. Pitch out with confidence, and our offense did their job. I was done by the 6th. I was done and handed off to our relievers, and then we carried it over into the locker room and celebrated. So it was a special moment, not only for us but for our whole team, to celebrate together. And I think it just boosted our confidence even more.
Whenever he was getting to the late innings of that game, Jonathan, when did you realize what was going on Matt's perfect game there? When did you?
What's funny is we were running out to congratulate him, and I looked at one of the guys, and I was like, "That's a no-hitter, right?" And everybody's just like, "No, he didn't walk anybody." And I was just like, "Holy crap, that's a perfect game!" And I actually didn't realize that it was a perfect game. I had realized it was a no-hitter. Well, I mean, obviously you look at the scoreboard and you see no runs, no hits, no errors, and you're thinking, all right, it's at least a no-hitter, because obviously you can't keep track of the walks. But and there was none, and I didn't realize that. So when we were running out, that's when I was told, I was like, it's a perfect game. But realizing that he was doing something special, I mean, obviously inning by inning, but I think it's about maybe probably the 7th or 8th inning when it really starts to hit you, like every out starts to kind of become a nail biter. And it was cool. It was awesome for him. It couldn't have happened to a better guy. He's very thankful for where he's at, and his story of how he got here. I don't know if he's ever told you guys that, but his story of how he got here is it's one of those things where it's like all timing. It happened on the right moment and the right day, and I'm really happy for him. It's a really cool accomplishment.
With all the superstitions in baseball, what do you guys talk about in the bullpen when something like that's happening?
Well, you don't talk at all, really. You don't. I mean, I don't know how they did it in the dugout, but they usually don't. You don't mess with the pitcher in the dugout. You kind of stay away from him, and then in the bullpen, you don't mention at all. You kind of try to talk about things that aren't on the field, because first off, the one thing, the cardinal rule you don't do is you don't say, "Hey, look, there's no hits," or you don't say like, "Has there been any error?" You don't say anything that could possibly ruin the perfect game, possibly jinx or upset the perfect game, and you just don't do that. But most of the time you're just kind of focusing on maybe like, what'd you guys do yesterday, or talking about something off topic until the 9th inning comes around, and then you're just basically glued to the game and everybody's dead silent.
Matt, did you have a wide berth in the dugout during that game?
I mean, really, I just try to keep it as normal as every other start. I try not to focus on it too much. I know in the 8th inning is when it really started to hit me that something special was happening, and I had an opportunity that I don't know if it would ever come across again. So, the guys were all cool, and we didn't talk about it. We just kind of hung out, and then once it happened, it was just like such an amazing moment. So, I mean, I think we all handled ourselves accordingly and did it right.
What is the story of how you got here, how you're in this league, or I'm not sure what it is, so why don't you just kind of take it away?
All right, so yeah, my story this year, I started at Gateway last year and did okay. Spring training, I had a couple rough outings and ended up getting released, and nobody would call me. Nobody would return any emails or calls, so I just stopped taking no for an answer and started just showing up places. And called Washington and called I think we were playing Normal that weekend, and neither managers would call me back, so I just showed up. I just walked through the locker room and said, "Hey, let me throw for you." They ended up signing me on the spot there, and kind of just took off right there. But a double-A pitcher that was supposed to come in that day, and something ended up happening where
we had a double-A pitcher that we were like, they were literally signed. They're basically, paperwork was on the table. He ended up signing with some Atlantic League team that day. He told us that he's not coming here, and so and Matt walked in that day, and the spot that kid was going to take, he pitched really well and took that spot, and then just took off from there.
So I guess that time it couldn't have worked out any better for me. So I'm really fortunate to be here. So
I'm gonna first of all remember that for the rest of my life. Sergey did a great job. It gets his old Gateway squad. He's been a big pickup for us as of late. Just you hear about perfect games, but you never really get to be in the moment of one. And that's something that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. And think about retiring at the end of this year. And if I do decide to retire at the end of this year, I can definitely go out on a high note. And that's definitely one of the highest notes in my career.
What did it feel like when you were in the middle of it? I mean, as a catcher, you're making a lot of these calls to help him along. You're seeing things that he can't see because he's in the zone. How did that feel?
It was kind of surreal. I mean, they were swinging at pitches that were in the zone. His pitches were just, beating him. All three pitches that he threw for strikes, and that was the difference in the game. About the 8th inning, I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I kept taking deep breaths behind the plate, hyperventilating. I was looking for the brown bag, but I couldn't find it. But no, it was a great experience and one that I'll treasure for the rest of my life.
What was he throwing? I mean, what was this? What do you attribute this to? I mean,
he's really been working hard in his bullpens, and we really preach getting ahead of hitters, and that's what he did the entire game, was get ahead. And if it was with his fastball or his slider or his breaking ball or his changeup, whatever he threw was for a strike. It's by far the best pitching performance, obviously, that I've ever seen. But I was very blessed, and I feel very special to be a part of it.
I don't want to sound weird, but this is the first time I've ever heard you humble, like really humble. Like this, like it's just days later, and you're still like overwhelmed by the experience.
I am. I feel like it didn't hit me yet. I think when I'm like 50 in my walker and walking down the street, I'm talking 50 years old because my knees are going to be done by then. It's something that I'm going to remember for us. It's the first time that, let's just say this, it's the first time that I ever went up to one of my teammates after the game and asked him for his autograph. So I'm definitely going to take that ball and frame it and put it on my wall because I'll remember him for the rest of my life for sure. But it was an unreal experience, and I'm glad I got to be a part of it.
All right, you guys heard it here. It's been a historic season here for the Washington Wild Things. Things are going to continue. We're going to the playoffs for the first time in 7 years. Make sure you give us a call. Come on out and see us. The number will be in the information bar below. Visit our website and to see what our playoff schedule is going to be like. All right, hope to see you guys there. I'm Brian Leonis for the Washington Wild Things. Let's see you guys at the game. I will say the perfect game that we saw, that was the single coolest sporting event I've seen in person my whole life, so that was pretty cool. Don't expect I'll ever see it again, much less even live, much less in person, so that's pretty special. I'll always be able to take that away. We got great footage of it. It's up on YouTube. You can check out our channel, and that's great for him, but special for everyone else that saw it. So it's very stressful because we were trying to figure out, we were short-staffed that day. We were trying to figure out how we're going to cover this, how we're going to get a camera down there. The cameras we have for the game don't have any audio, so we couldn't hear anything unless we got another camera down on the field. So coming into that last inning, I told everyone upstairs, I was like, I'm taking the camera and I'm leaving. I'm not coming back. I'm not going to worry about putting up headshots or anything. This is way more important than that. So I just kind of bolted out, went down to the field and got what I could. And it was a good thing I ran down there because he got 2 outs in his first 3 pitches starting the 9th inning. So I was just getting set up. Did get the last out though, so that was good.
There's no way you could have called us, because if you called us, we would have jinxed it.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where you don't want to move, right?
When you're up there and we had to figure out, are we going to get coverage of this? So we had to talk about it to see how we were going to get people to cover it. So we jinxed it really early on, like in the 4th inning. We're like, hey, there's a perfect game going. Everyone else see that? Hey, perfect game, other side of the box. You see that's a perfect game going on? So we wanted to get it over with early, so if something happened, yes, we would be blamed, but it wouldn't be at the end of the game when we had to talk about how are we going to cover this perfect game. So we jinxed it early on to get it out of the way, and it didn't jinx it, so I don't think it's really a jinx. We're good.
That's great.
It's the same thing out of your mouth, a little flow.